Hey, it's Coach with Tactical Hyve, and today I've got some pistols that I used in the past, and I want to go over how we carried them and how we implemented them. Way back in the early 80s, and before me, this one rolled in, this Bianchi. The way it was looked at was a little bit different. Your pistol was not, transition drills wasn't a thing. I mean, we didn't do that. It was looked at more of an E&E weapon, or just something to have on you in case your primary went down hard. You at least could, defend yourself. To that end, with this good old Bianchi generic, and each one of these guns will drop right in there. Little flap holster, flap over it. That's how I carried this one and this one overseas. I said I never actually ran around with this one too much. I did qualify with it. It was available to me, but anyway, it fits in here as well. It might even have been built for it, who knows, but all the other ones worked. Even your good old SIG, your bog standard SIG, that sucker would drop in there and you make that work as well. It was issued, in green for everybody else, but we were special at Team 5 back in 1987. They gave us black ones. It was one size fits all, but we weren't in any big hurry to get to it, and it wasn't really viewed as that important. As we moved on, we got better. As we went along, leather holsters that were specifically made for a specific gun, so you couldn't put your M9 into a SIG leather holster. That was the next step. After they invented Kydex, all hell broke loose. Because now, if you want to have a gun, you're going to have that particular gun in that particular holster. For me, I always advocate having a light on your pistol, and that adds that extra bit of complexity. So now, that holster that you're getting to carry the gun around in has to not only fit the model of the holster, but also which light you choose to use with it. So we'll get into that here. We did do a little bit of low light shooting back in my day, back when I first started, I should say. When you had your good old single action 1911, and then we had one of those angles, green angled flashlights that momentary come on, and you can just marry your hands up like this and flash the light, and it would light up your sights. Did it work? Yeah. Was it as effective as it needed to be? No. So as we moved on, I'll take you through the evolution. Okay, so when we start using the 226, this is a Safariland, and it's got a kind of a faux leather exterior and just a thumb brake. So you'd snap it and drag that sucker out. And again, it fits just this one, not any of the previous models. And then we want to put a light on it. Well, that was kind of a new idea back then. So it turns this, it's the same damn gun, but now the holster has to be just enormous. And the light was, again, pretty large, but initially, this wasn't a bad ticket. It allowed you to light up your target, your threat. Didn't have the cool, and there was nothing cool about it. Well, no, I take that back. At the time, it was the coolest thing going. This one has had the pigtail cut off of it, but you just come up, for streamlining, you could work the light on and off just with your support hand thumb. We're talking enormous light for like 60 lumens, but it gave you a capability that, well, you didn't have up until then. So at the time, it was a good deal. Now, of course, this 226 is just like this one. There's no rail. So the way they figured out how to put this on there, the takedown lever here, well, this one's flat on this side. On this one, underneath here, there's a little nipple sticking out. So what you'd do is you'd remove that, slide this on, put this through, and snap it together. And that would hold it there and it would rattle a lot. And then you come under here with a little set screw, and that would tighten up against the trigger guard. So that's what held it together, and it gave us a capability that we didn't have. I believe this one was also fairly waterproof, but I don't think I ever took one of these diving, so I can't report back on that one. This is a classic piece of equipment these days. If you notice on here, it says it was made by a company called Laser Products in Fountain Valley, California. And you might know them as their current name of Surefire. So this one actually predates Surefire as a name brand. So kind of cool. So we're going from the late 90s, early pistol light, big, huge holster, and then in the late 90s, right around the turn of the century, you know, millennium, right? Yeah, Y2K, remember that one? All right, Kydex became a really big thing, and Safariland got together with Surefire and put this combination together. The light has side-by-side batteries, makes it a little bit chunky, a little thick in there, but shortened the overall length a bit. This has, it's removable, has a pressure switch, so you're just pushing on it with your fingers here. You know, as you take a natural grip, it turns the light on, which was fine. If you didn't want that to happen, you wanted to not turn the light on because you're going to grip this sucker, you'd throw the lock out, and then you wouldn't have any light ADs if that's what you wanted. And then this drop right in to that holster there. Boom, no problem. Thumb brake. Oh, a little tight these days. So I take this off and say I didn't want my light on for the weight or whatever. These flanges here match up with slots in the holster. So I'm gonna put it in there. I'd lock it in, and you could use it without the light. So fairly versatile, but again, we're still working with a gun without integral rails on it. Moving into those early 2000s, the Surefire X300 comes out. And again, a lot of the guns in our inventory didn't have the rail. So they made a even smaller little setup here that went on there, just so you could fit this bad boy on there. Again, same idea here. You got a thumb switch you can hit here, or a pressure pad right here. And then, you know, add on even more, like, oh, we got a light, how about a laser? Yeah, so you got a little laser comes out here that you can sight in, and again, it has a pressure switch right here. So you get a light and a laser when you press out and get that good natural grip. From here, we went from this style, okay, with the bail, okay, that you would have to actuate in order to get the gun out, to then there's a new latch here. You didn't have bail anymore. This locks in on the top of the ejection port. So when you press down, out it comes. It's a lot smoother, a lot nicer. You know, nothing to move out of the way. It took a little bit of getting used to, but worked out really well. Again, we're talking still the gun without a rail, but you get all this cool go fast gear that's coming to it. And you notice, and this is getting smaller, but like I said, we had a lot of these in inventory. So we had this, and then we had this new, you know, cool, much more sleek holster. So because there's a little extra room here, because that mount, I had to go ahead and make a modification there. So now it slides in right there like that. Okay, now about that same time, X300 on the new railed Mark 25, that sucker drops right in there. Didn't change much on that. It still works with the newer gun, you know, that was designed for. Just have a little modification on there, no big deal. Now some guys still like the bail, you know, they're used to it. It was what they've trained with, so they stuck with that. Well, this does the same exact thing, rolls in there, you know, so it doesn't lock in quite so much, but, you know, if you're used to doing this and you don't want to spend the extra time to learn that new technique, because, you know, like we always talk about here at Tactical Hyve, it's what you train to. So if this is what you wanted, you could stick with that. But again, the whole package has now gotten a lot smaller. Everything's nice and tight, and we're still running with something like this today. I mean, we've gone to the Glock 19, where we've got lights for the Glocks, the new M17, M18, they've got a rail, you know, Surefire X300, it's still a really good viable option. So as you can see, lights keep getting better and smaller and brighter. You know, the future is wide open. There's more of this coming. There'll be I'm kind of excited actually, and a little bit bummed because my operating days are over, and the gear that's coming out now is pretty awesome. Real quick overview, we started with no light on our gun, handheld lights occasionally. Big leap in technology was this one. And then as we got better, everything got smaller, more compact, and the light became brighter. These lights are pretty much the same item, but once we moved the rail, the integral rail, you could make it that much smaller. And the ones guys are using now are even better than these. So I guess you could say the future's looking pretty bright. As always, if you like this content, like, subscribe, leave me a comment.